Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Today's podcast is sponsored by SLI Systems, providers of intelligent site search and navigation solutions. Learn more at sli-systems.com and listen to their interviews at ecommercepodcast.com.
Your path to e-commerce success starts right here. You're listening to Practical E-commerce, the podcast for e-commerce results.
Welcome back to another Practical E-commerce podcast. My name is Brian Getting, and this is part of our September 2006 podcast. This one is a profile with Dimitri Krakovsky, who is the Vice President of Product for Yahoo Small Business. He discusses the merits of a hosted shopping cart solution and various trends he sees in the e-commerce landscape that e-commerce owners need to be aware of. And he was interviewed by Practical E-commerce's contributing editor, Mitch Bettis, who did a profile for him in the September edition of our magazine, which is really all about shopping carts. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Mitch and Dimitri, and hope you enjoy it.
Before we get into specifics about various Yahoo options, if you were providing some advice to a new e-commerce business or an e-commerce business that was evaluating various shopping cart options, how would you describe the merits of a hosted solution compared to that of various software solutions?
So I think, it starts with sort of the fundamental premise that people start businesses to sell products to their customers and service their customers, not necessarily deal with, computer IT sort of issues. So I think a great advantage of a hosted solution is that it removes a lot of headaches that you need to deal with kind of on the IT side. There's zero installation, there's zero administration. You don't need to know about patches. You don't need to know about security holes. You don't need to know about network operations. You don't need to know about a lot of this sort of technobabble stuff that most small businesses don't necessarily need or want to know about. There's a whole bunch of other, advantages. You get scalability, you get reliability, load balancing. If you need to sell, if your business is a little more cyclical and you sell more during, let's say, Christmas season, the solution has to scale with you. You get so much more flexibility, I believe, particularly until the really, really big merchants who can absorb all this cost and, pay for this flexibility themselves, might benefit from sort of more of a software solution. But it's our belief that in the low end, all the way pretty much to like really high-end merchants, hosted solution gives you way more in, with regards to these benefits than a software solution option.
How would you assess the skill level, the technical skill level that's needed to operate a hosted store in terms of updating inventory or making design changes? What kind of skill level is even needed on a hosted level?
Well, it really depends. It depends on how fancy and different you want to get. You can open a simple Yahoo store very easily. I'd say, if you're a little bit familiar with what we have and you read the manual, or you talk to one of our consultants, you could probably do it in a day or a couple of days. Now, if you have a lot of products or if you desire to have a really specific look and feel and you need different kinds of designs, that takes a little bit longer. But in general, it's not, particularly with our solution, it's not about as much, kind of your IT IQ. It's really about, figuring out what you want to do on the business side, what products you want to sell, what your best sellers are, how much you want to charge for them. So we're trying to make it a business problem, not a technological problem. You don't have to be a tech whiz at all to open a Yahoo store. That's really probably the lesser of most of the concerns you're going to have.
One of the concerns from various e-commerce businesses that has been articulated to me is that their stereotype is that with a hosted solution, they get a very limited package of options. Maybe you could speak to that notion and the concept of just the design and functionality of a store. Are there a couple of templates that everyone is required to use? Is there some scalability there in terms of design? Are there custom design options?
So I would almost separate the notion of hosted versus the notion of flexibility. Both solutions can be very flexible and very inflexible. We provide a variety of options. You could just, in the most standard, easy way, you just pick a standard template, and you can modify, the colors and where the nav bar is located, how your product item page looks, various kinds of things like that. Easy modifications, and get up and running quickly. Or you can build pretty much the most custom store you can imagine. The fact that it's a hosted option doesn't limit you at all. I mean, you could create your own HTML. I mean, pretty much anything you can do in the software option, you could do with us. It just, we run it for you.
If you were narrowing down a couple of key features that make a Yahoo store distinctive in this marketplace of some 300 different carts, 100 or so various hosted kind of package options, are there a couple of things you would narrow it down to that, above and beyond perhaps others in the marketplace, this is really a bonus that you get? This is something above and beyond that you get with a Yahoo store that you're not going to get or get as well with another option.
In general, we kind of try to avoid the kind of featured tech, checkmark derbies, because, at the end there, what we hear from our customers, it's sort of the overall solution that matters. And as a matter of fact, it's, getting the leads and converting them to sales. That's what matters. And that's really kind of how we think about this problem. So things that we provide that, essentially, we're a one-stop solution for getting the leads. We have, Yahoo search marketing. You get, on the higher end, you can get branded ads. You get integrated into Yahoo Shopping. For some segments, it makes sense to get integrated into Yahoo Local. So it's kind of one-stop marketing solution where you, at the end of the day, you get the leads and you convert them to sales. We're also, a platform that's been really battle-tested over, many years now by tens of thousands of small businesses. So again, oftentimes when people talk about so cool features, they forget that, at the end of the day, the store has to run. It has to be reliable, and it can never go down.
The idea of a kind of a complete package is evolved to a terrific level over the last few years. Do you see other trends in e-commerce that small e-commerce businesses ought to be aware of? Maybe those are specifically in things that are coming in a shopping cart solution, or perhaps a bigger picture, other things happening in today's landscape that e-commerce owners should be aware of.
I think that to me, the highest level question is really not e-commerce oriented, but generally, being a retailer, how do I get the leads? How do I convert the leads? And how do I make money on the leads? That's really what most of the folks are thinking about. And the rest of the stuff is, if supplement is kind of secondary to this notion and the mission, if you will. And I think in the future, various vendors, and we're thinking about this very explicitly in a very focused way, the vendors who are going to win are the vendors who will be able to answer these questions, in the best possible way. If you think about brick and mortar retail, nobody walks in the store and says, well, the shelves are long here and the lights are really, bright and this and that, so this store is better than that store. So it's not a feature game. People evaluate success based on sales. They evaluate success based on number of customers they bring in. So I think a lot of the, future trends will have to do with being able to help merchant customers market effectively and deal with the complexity of, should I optimize for search engine? Should I buy some keywords? Should I think about shopping? Should I think about affiliate programs? Should I think about direct marketing? There's all this complexity associated with getting a lead right now. And frankly, a lot of them just don't have enough time, desire, money, or or other resources, to deal with this complexity. And I think over time, that whole area is going to simplify significantly, where somebody's going to come in and say, here's the lead, and here's how much, or a merchant's going to say, here's how much I want to pay for this, and just give me the qualified leads, and there will be vendors who will provide them the qualified leads for that. Another direction, I think, is thinking about multi-channel retailing. There's so many stores out there, retail stores, that understand their business very well. They understand their customers, they know their vendors, they know their best sellers, they know what to sell those things for, and they're looking for additional outlets. And a lot of the customers that they're quite successful, the Yahoo stores, are the ones that started as offline retailers and gradually graduated, into online world, and sometimes the online world is sort of taking over, the regular brick and mortar world. But, getting those people online, I think the first wave was primarily the pure online retailers, but a lot of offline retailers are thinking about online as an additional channel, and figuring out how to kind of bridge and merge these two worlds and make them work together is a big problem that needs to be solved.
And that's going to do it for this Practical E-Commerce podcast profile. Once again, I want to say thank you to Mitch Bettis and Dimitri Krakovsky of Yahoo Small Business for doing a great interview and helping e-commerce business owners to get a better idea of sort of the landscape they're facing and what's going on in their industry. Once again, I want to make sure to let people know to check our website at www.practicalecommerce.com to get more articles, podcasts, and definitely check out a community forum. We're giving a $100 gift certificate away each month to Amazon.com for a random poster on our community forum. So go on in there and post, and the more you post, the better your chances are to win.